Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. BNB spoilers. Hope Logan is working at Forrester Creations on borrowed time. Is Hope Logan's tenure at Forrester Creations coming to an end? Hope is happy that her career is once again on the rise, and is committed to making her line the finest it has ever been. The Bold and the Beautiful just unveiled another hope for the future revival at FC. However, all could be altered by the fashion war that is developing in Los Angeles. Lope marriage is collateral damage according to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful. Liam Spencer is putting a lot of effort into helping his parents develop Logan. It won't be long before Hope and Liam's various businesses begin to cause friction between them. Liam's lack of support for Hope's job has always worried her. If he is rooting for his wife, then he is rooting against his parents. The gloves will come off between the two families after it is revealed that Eric Forrester and Katie Spencer collaborated at Logan. The Lope marriage may suffer as a result of Forrester and Logan's conflict. Offering his wife a line at his family's new business would be the sensible and logical course of action. She would also be employed by her aunt. We suspect Liam may also grant her a little pay increase. The only issue is that Thomas Forrester won't allow her to bring Hope for the future with her. Will Hope lose her husband to keep HFTF? Given how frequently HFTF has been cancelled, reborn, and redesigned, Hope Logan shouldn't be bothered by having to start over. However, Hope has always been troubled by Liam's lack of interest in her fashion company. Since Liam's family only launched their business last month, his wife would probably claim that she has contributed 10 years to HFTF. Will Hope's marriage last if she continues to work at Forrester Creations? Will she remain at FC and choose her career above her family? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. RJ's drama sparks a comeback while Elektra's big idea backfires. According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Elektra Forrester wishes to look after Dylan. Because of this, the open receptionist position is an excellent solution to deal with her unemployment and remove her from Will Spencer's property. Will has a good heart. He feels terrible for Dylan and likes her right now. But a new dynamic is created when RJ Forrester returns to Los Angeles, California. Two problems could arise from RJ's involvement in Elektra. His advances toward her could be the first. In the second, Will might respond to Elektra's apparent or actual slip away from him. In any case, who is this art instructor? Dylan appeared as Hayes Finnegan's summer school art instructor last year. At first, Bullock's alter ego was intended to be a supporting character in Luna Nozawa's compelling plot, which featured her obsession with Will. As viewers remember, Dylan was bound, gagged, and placed in a closet in the beach home where kids' art classes were held over the summer. To get more involved in her father's life, Luna tricked her way into the class. After Luna unintentionally shot Sheila Carter Sharp's toe off and intentionally shot and almost killed Liam Spencer, who thought he had shot her dead in retaliation, the situation went out of control. Months later, Dylan reappears and has taken Luna's position in Will's life, but in a different way. RJ Forrester gives a comprehensive family explanation. New viewers may not be aware that Elektra and RJ are not blood relatives. Despite having the same last name, he and Elektra are not related because RJ's father, Rich Forrester, is adopted. As a result, flirty looks were exchanged once the audience was given the necessary explanation. At Forrester Creations, RJ and Elektra first crossed paths in front of the runway. It was noteworthy, but not as memorable as her first encounter with Will. Will Spencer wants to get along in front of Elektra. Will had a direct conversation with RJ. Bill Spencer and Ridge, their fathers, don't get along, he said. Will told RJ that he didn't want their relationship to remain that way, and Nicoletti, who is now playing a recast character, agreed. But it's obvious that RJ found Elektra quite attractive, and she did notice him. Will's cordial relationship with Dylan and Elektra's abrupt realization that she shouldn't spend a lot of time at the beach house suggest a soapy opportunity is imminent. Will Elektra always be attracted to RJ? Will approaches Dylan, and Elektra uses RJ to recover in response? These are only two examples of how tension might be introduced in what is turning into a gripping winter drama. Fans are ready to LOL at Bold and Beautiful's Finn's new direction. Finn is typically kept in the forefront of Bold and Beautiful, although primarily to respond to the plots of other characters. He will comment on Eric's forced retirement, offer advice on Liam's fictitious tumor, or talk about Luna's death, but he never actually spearheads a narrative. However, if viewers get their way, it would all change. Show us the funny following the release of Tanner Novlan's most recent Liberty Bibberty commercial. Reddit users bemoaned how, in the words of True57, the writers have bastardized my boy Finn and made him a shell of himself. Many also questioned why the actor appeared so much livelier in the commercial than on the soap opera. Maybe that's because, as Popular Salad 2450 mentioned, he's always shirtless talking to Steffi about literally nothing lately. However, the commercial lets Novlan be humorous, something bold and beautiful doesn't often do. DixieBell58 stated, I wish executive producer/head writer Brad Bell let his comedic side show more instead of the Steffi's shirtless wimp role he plays. Well done 22 added, I'd love to see Finn be more comedic. In the early days of Sally Spectra, that was what made the soap opera so entertaining. She was always able to make the audience laugh. We no longer receive any of that. It's turned into Psycho of the Week and CEO of the Week. Drama plus comedy equals a recipe for success. Finn may offer a sharp contrast to the intense drama that occurs on a regular basis if the program let him to occasionally loosen up and laugh. Not that we don't enjoy the growing tension between Deacon and Taylor's affections for one another, the war royale that will break out when Brooke and Rich discover Eric is working for Katie, or the certainty that Sheila will find out. However, a little humor wouldn't be out of the question. The program is also capable of doing it. Do you recall Katie's terrifying fantasy about Logan's first fashion presentation going horribly wrong? That was witty, humorous, and unique. A true now what have we here moment to make us pay attention and sit up. The Bold and the Beautiful. Will the she-devil be released by Deacon and Taylor's romance? The true threat is elsewhere. Even if Steffi is already in a frenzy at her mother's new entanglements. Not only would this relationship be a scandal if it becomes public, but it will also serve as the impetus for Sheila to revert to her deadliest habits. We have been following Sheila for a while now, and we are aware of what she is capable of when driven in this way. Is Taylor in peril? I believe so. Sheila had been clinging to a shaky story of salvation, primarily based on her union with Deacon. He has been her pillar of support, and the only person who has acknowledged her existence despite her lengthy criminal past. Sheila's innermost insecurity, that she is unworthy of love in comparison to the respectable ladies of Los Angeles, is confirmed if Taylor. Sheila doesn't cry when she feels displaced. Instead, she plots and schemes, which is bad for Los Angeles. This isn't simply a split. It's termed a displacement. Well, not her directly, but her attraction to Sheila is the weird part of this situation. Lee is now one of Sheila's few remaining acquaintances who still give her time, which was a move I never anticipated. A strange, unspoken camaraderie has developed between the two mothers as a result of Lee's own decline into resentment, which has been reinforced by her recent traumas and the Luna fiasco. Can Lee, however, truly stop Sheila's downward spiral? It's unlikely. At the moment, Lee herself has a scorched earth mindset. Lee may unintentionally give Sheila a safe route down rather than talking her off the brink. Lee could weaponize Sheila instead of calming her if she justifies Sheila's rage toward Taylor by viewing it as another example of a Logan or Forrester lady stealing what isn't theirs. Does Lee want this? Is this what she intends to do? After all, Lee is upset about a lot of things. We are witnessing the ideal storm. Deacon is experimenting with what may be a raging inferno in addition to flames. It would be like trying to cross the expressway while wearing a blindfold if he assumed he could control Sheila's emotions while pursuing Taylor. He is completely incorrect. Dark Sheila has simply lain dormant, waiting for a trigger. That trigger would be losing Deacon to Taylor Hayes. The question is not whether Sheila will strike back, but rather who will be left standing when she does. January 23rd. Finn attempts to steer clear of Sheila in Bold, and the beautiful must-watch moments. Nerves are raised in Friday's BNB episode as Finn tries to avoid Sheila at Il Giardino and Dylan makes a pledge that Elektra is keen to hear. In Los Angeles, boundaries, secrets, and simmering tension collide. Finn's attempt to elude Sheila at Il Giardino is one of the Bold and the Beautiful's must-watch moments on Friday, January 23rd. Dylan also assures Elektra that she won't go over any limits. Key takeaways: as tensions escalate, Finn makes a special effort to avoid Sheila at Il Giardino. After recent worries, Dylan reassures Electra that she will respect boundaries. Everyone tries to keep Sheila in the dark about Deacon and Taylor's connection. What previously occurred on B&B Deacon was devastated to learn that Sheila had concealed the fact that Luna was still alive. He genuinely thought Sheila had changed, so when he learned that she had concealed such a terrible falsehood, he was shocked and began to doubt everything they had accomplished together. Deacon turned to Taylor for support as he struggled to deal with the aftermath. Slowly, what started off as professional assistance became personal. Taylor made an effort to set limits, but the attraction between them was too great, and they kept seeing each other even though they were aware of the dangers. Soon after, Steffi realized what was going on and tried to convince Hope to stop it before Sheila discovered it. Rather, Hope welcomed the relationship, happy that her father was at last making progress. Steffi's worry was only heightened by that reaction, which increased her concern that things would get out of hand. Taylor refused to let Deacon go as a client despite Steffi's pleas. She and Deacon gave in completely to their emotions instead of taking a step back. Everyone put a lot of effort into keeping Sheila in the dark about Taylor and Deacon's developing romance. Steffi hired a struggling Dylan to work at Forrester Creations with Electra, and Will at the same time. Although Electra has recently asked him to give her some space, Dylan still resides with the couple. Will calmed Electra after she just voiced her worries regarding Dylan. What to watch on Friday, January 23rd, episode 9700. Dylan assures Electra that he won't go overboard. At Il Giardino, Finn attempts to stay away from Sheila. Deacon fantasizes about kissing Taylor since he is so conflicted. Will and Dylan became closer. Steffi broke good news to Electra. Ivy interfered in her niece's romance, and Deacon fantasized about giving Taylor a passionate kiss. What transpired on the bold and the beautiful Hope realized her father's affections for Talior were sincere at Deacon's apartment. Hope reminded Deacon of Sheila's past lies, despite Deacon's insistence that he was married and devoted to Sheila. He pleaded with her not to push him to pursue Taylor. Deacon's wife's mental instability seemed to be the main reason he resisted giving in to his affections for Taylor. He was afraid of what she might do to exact revenge on him for betraying him. Deacon couldn't take the chance of directly endangering Taylor like that. Deacon wished to deal with Sheila's emotions in a sensible manner. Taylor was very important to him, and placing her on Sheila's warpath might endanger her life. Deacon asked if he should dissolve his marriage after Hope begged him not to put his life on wait due to Sheila's feelings. Hope remembered that Deacon and Sheila had recently been parted. He ought to struggle for his freedom if his heart was split. Deacon was grateful for everything Hope had given him, but he begged for some time to consider his next course of action. In order to let Deacon's emotions be known, Hope advised him to run to Taylor and tell her everything. Steffi was still pleading with her mother in Taylor's office to keep Sheila from getting upset. Steffi had had enough of her mother telling her what she wanted to hear. She insisted that Taylor pay attention to her, and immediately stop treating Deacon. Steffi suggested that Deacon might leave Sheila in order to begin a romantic relationship. She was positive that everyone involved would suffer as a result of this. Deacon stormed into Taylor's office after Steffi left, telling her that it couldn't wait. Deacon and Taylor acknowledged their want to stay in each other's lives. Deacon described Taylor as the most stunning and incredible woman, but that was the end of their chat. Taylor and Deacon shared a passionate kiss. Sadly, Deacon hadn't admitted to anything, so it was only a fantasy scene for him. Sheila intercepted Deke as he attempted to flee Il Giardino, despite his best efforts to avoid bumping into her. She wanted to talk about her love for Deacon. Sheila persisted even though Deke didn't want to talk to her. Sheila was frantic to emphasize Deacon's devotion to her, and to make the case that, given his willingness to reclaim her, why couldn't he and Hope welcome her? Sheila hoped that instead of merely putting up with the relationship, Deke and Hope would find a way to support it. Deke asked Sheila if she was comfortable with the amount of time they spent together after bringing up Taylor. Sheila extolled Taylor's virtues and praised her skills as a psychiatrist. Sheila tried everything to keep her marriage intact since she thought Taylor was unique. Deke just got up and left without answering his stepmother. Ivy apologized to Electra in the Forrester design room for keeping her up late. She surmised that her niece and Will had probably already made plans. Ivy pointed out that Will wouldn't be completely alone for the evening because Dylan was staying at the guest house. Ivy thought Dylan should always be appreciative of Will and Electra for their assistance. In agreement, Elektra described her as a close friend to both of them. Ivy asked Elektra whether she thought it was improper for Will and Dylan to live together, even if she thought the desire to assist Dylan was admirable. Ivy said that Elektra had spent much too much time away from Eric's house. Ivy was reassured by Elektra, though, that she had informed Will that she was unable to stay over as frequently. When she inquired about Will's reaction to the news, Elektra said that, although disappointed, he comprehended. When Steffi got back to work, she wanted to talk to Elektra about Dylan. Dylan had an opportunity to work as a receptionist at Forrester, but it was not yet official. Steffi's willingness to support Dylan during the most trying period of her life was fiercely appreciated by Elektra. Dylan felt uncomfortable at Will's beach house without Elektra. He invited her to supper since he didn't want the food to go to waste. Will urged Elektra to focus solely on her own laundry, but he saw that Dylan had completed some of his and Elektra's. But she insisted on giving him something in return for his generosity. Dylan declared Will's teriyaki chicken to be the greatest she had ever eaten. A reporter texted Will to ask his thoughts on Katie's departure from Forrester. Will felt that this was the best course of action for his mother, because he thought Katie wasn't being treated fairly. Will told Dylan about his experience working at Forrester, and expressed his hope that Steffi would be able to secure a position there. Dylan wanted to know how Will and Elektra's romance started. Dylan thanked Will once again for saving her life, after he gave her the Cliff Notes version of the story. Later, Dylan circled Will as he passed out on the couch. He snored, and she kept a tight eye on him. "You will be seeing a lot more of him," Brian Nicoletti of B&B hinted to RJ's future. Los Angeles is where RJ Forrester is staying. Meanwhile, B&B fans were able to learn more about him because to his portrayal Brian Nicoletti. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Brian Nicoletti debuted as RJ Forrester. He went back to Los Angeles to reunite with his parents, who had just reconciled. Nicoletti gave fans a chance to get to know RJ better, because he might be staying much longer this time. Important takeaways. Nicoletti hinted that RJ would be staying a lot longer this time. The actor, who did not begin his career in the serial opera, was introduced to B&B viewers. Nicoletti disclosed certain details about his life and his profession in an open and succinct manner. Brian Nicoletti expresses RJ Forrester's calm confidence. Nicoletti shares RJ's peaceful confidence. He answered questions about himself while strolling down the street, as seen in a recent Instagram video. Hot off of RJ's big return to #BoldandBeautiful, take a moment and get to know Brian Nicoletti, the post description hinted. He'll be around a lot more. As he responded to several of the quick queries, Nicoletti didn't perspire. As it happens, the soap opera is not his first acting role. In response to a question about a fun fact about him, Nicoletti said, "My family's from Brazil." Nicoletti and RJ have something in common. Nicoletti previously starred in an indie film. As viewers of B&B are already aware, RJ was on a global tour. His parents thought he was in Brazil. It appears that the show included that as an Easter egg. The actor talked about how he felt about his first day of work. Nicoletti said that his parents are role models, and that the best advice he received was to follow your dreams. At the time he was stunned and could only say, "Wow." Al Pacino is Nicoletti's ideal scene partner, and Leonardo DiCaprio is his favorite actor. Breaking Bad and Money Heist are two of his favorite TV series. Nicoletti spends most of his time at Café Los Feliz when he's not filming the soap opera. His message for B&B fans. Nicoletti was asked what he wanted to share with the fans in the final question. As followers went to the Instagram post comments to express their opinions about Nicoletti's portrayal of RJ, he grinned and warned, "Get ready. He is doing well so far," said one fan, while another said, "Doing a wonderful job already. Fantastic acting. Greetings from a fantastic show." Jacqueline McInnes Wood, who portrays Steffi, even expressed her support in the comments area. "Red heart, red heart, red heart, red heart, red heart," was all she said. Another fan repeated her words, saying, "He's doing fantastic. The best recast to date. Clapping hands, red heart." How do you feel about Nicoletti's interpretation of RJ? Are you hoping he will stay? Tell us in the space provided for comments.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.